There is a delineation celebration in California. California SB 515 has been signed. Now, I am sharing with you a video of a person who is breaking it down, probably the best that I've seen, but I will share some other videos with you. But basically, the census delineation between original Black Americans, Caribbeans, and Africans is underway in California and also in New York. And if these pass, this can be a model for doing this in other states. So, without further ado, I'm going to go on ahead and let you hear what this brother has to say.
How's it going, family? I just want to come up here and tell you that we have a win when it comes to delineation and separating ourselves from the immigrant class. The term is deaggregation, and in California, SB 515 has been signed as of October 13th, 2025. So yes, our data is now going to be made specific to our lineage, and no longer are we falling under flat blackness in the state of California. Now, granted, yes, it is just the state of California, and it has not passed off. It's not a federal bill or anything like that, but it is a stepping stone. It's a precedent that was set that California has recognized that we are a distinct lineage, we are a distinct people, and informs regulations, policies, procedures, and all that. That if the when targeting our particular lineage, and when just talking about different disparities and how to help the community, we have a place now. We have a designation, which is under the American Freeman category. So, which is has legal foundation already. So, it is there. We're making moves. The family's making moves. And I just want to say that I'm excited. To see where we're going and to see that we're definitely moving forward. So big ups to all those out there in California for voting and helping to get that bill passed in California. Next, New York, they're working on it too. There's a petition out there. Her name is Brooke. I need to. I have it. I have the link, so I'm gonna make sure I get it, and I'll most likely do another video on speaking about that particular petition. And there's another petition that is specifically geared towards the census 2030 that Brother Simon is working on, and I've already signed that one. I just need to sign one for Brooke. But yes, if we're going to do something, we also have to not just talk about it, but be about it. And these are some moves that we can make to help the delineation movement and to help our family and our lineage to make sure that we continue to stay a family, stay connected, and to continue to protect our community. And like Brother Simon just said, it's not just about now; it's about the generations coming. That's all I got to say for now. Love you, family, and peace and blessings.
So, this is very good news. Now, the person who made this video, Fuego, it says to clarify something, and I'm reading from his comments here on the screen. To clarify something, this bill only deaggregates the data, it's just a stepping stone to becoming a protected class. So, when you are signing or when you are filling out the census, and it's like, oh, are you Black or African? And it says any other people groups originating from, belonging to Sub-Saharan Africa, this, that, the third, right? That puts everybody in one big black, flat black group. It doesn't take into account lineage, ethnicity, where you're from, your ethnic origins, culture, any of these things. It just is one big, flat black group. So, what this helps us to do is get our information together. What this helps us to do, like the brother said, he says it starts, and I'm reading from Fuego's, his name's not, it's like Edric, but it says this bill starts clarifying things and getting the data correct. So, again, there's a person who says, how can we get North Carolina on board? And the brother says, I'm aware of two other petitions, one from New York and another geared towards a census in 2030. Slowly but surely, folks are doing the work to cover all of us. So this is about lineage. This isn't about stepping on anyone's toes. This isn't about being divisive. This is about getting the lineage together. So many times there's a conversation about what African Americans, what Black Americans do or don't deserve, but it's a muddled conversation because it's like, well, who gets to be African American? What is it? Zoran Mamdani is technically African American. He's from Uganda and he's a naturalized American citizen. So that's African and then that's American. I know on my birth certificate, there the word African American did not exist yet. So you go further back in my family's lineage, and on their birth certificates, you see words like Negro or colored. And many times, thanks to the reclassification of our people from copper colored, indigenous, aborigine, a lot of those people were reclassified as Negro. And then you have the reclassification of Negro to black to African American to these other things that just become a big mesh and a sea of people that we don't belong to. So this helps everybody figure out, their numbers and what's going on with each population. And really, as people who are descendants of chattel slavery in continental America, right? So I'm not talking about islands. As descendants of people who were in continental chattel slavery here in America, there are certain ways that we have been discriminated against and disenfranchised that whenever we go to fight for these rights, they just become the resources and rights of people of color when we have a very specific story. And because of that specific story, we have very specific needs. So, this is what the deaggregation of information can begin to do. So, I'm going to go back one video and allow you to listen to some other things that were going on in the office of Governor Gavin Newsom.
To tell you what SB 437 and SB 518. I don't know if you heard about them, but I'm happy to tell you a little something real quick. Okay. Okay. So SB 437 was actually authored by Governor Newsom's office in last legislative session. Oh yeah. Senator Keelan Weber has picked that up this legislative session under SB 437, and what that bill will do is allocate $6 million from the state budget to the California State University system to do a study on genealogy for 3 to 5 years. So delaying any reparations or repair and justice measures until this study is completed in the next 3 to 5 years. She says it was a recommendation of the task force. It was not. The task force did not recommend more study. The task force recommended was to stand up an agency to start doing genealogy. Okay, so that's SB 437, which we oppose. Then she has SB 518, which would establish the Bureau of Descendants of American Slavery in the Department of Justice. So putting our reparations bureau under police control. We also have a problem with that. We don't think that's a good idea. But besides just that point, SB 518 again delays reparations in the state because we already heard from the Department of Justice and they say that they're going to need 5 years to implement this bureau. So
Okay, so I'm going to let that rest there. But also, this comment here it says the Virginia Vital Statistics Bureau classified all non reservation Indians as Black. Now, there are people who get online and they like to say, you're African, you're African, you're African. And people like me try to explain what an ethnogenesis is and where the Black American actually comes from. And I think that there is some confusion there. But you see, if you were to just highlight this phrase that the person typed and then put it into Google, whatever you need to see in terms of how this happened, these reclassifications, probably even the name of Walter Plecker will come up because it was this great big paper. Uh, and aside, I don't want to say it with a letter G because that could get, my channel in some problems. But basically, it wasn't necessarily the ending of the people, it was the ending of their identity. And so we're calling back to ourselves our true identity. And there are many people fighting over who they believe Black Americans to be. I believe it's the Cherokee Nation up right now, Cherokee. And I want to say also the Muskogee Nation who are fighting to have. Black Americans who are foundational Black Americans who are American descendants of chattel slavery, um, who are the people of James Brown, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, us, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X on the paternal side, to have these people reclassified as Cherokee because allegedly their government funding is ending. And now there is a saying after hundreds of years by the Cherokee Nation, and I want to say also the Muskogee Nation, oh, we've denied our brothers, their rightful place in our nation, and we need to extend apologies and get them back in here. And at the same time, there are people, all manner of social media and podcast conversations where people are like, oh, you guys are Wabos and Pretendians, and you're Africans, and you just think being African is a bad thing. And Black Americans are trying to explain, like, you think you know who we are, but you have no idea. We don't have a hand in what Jesse Jackson did when he decided that we, as a group of people, would be called African American, knowing good and well none of us have any connection to Africa. We have no current day. We have no, it's been centuries. And there are people who come here from Somalia, from Uganda, from Nigeria, who have more of a right to the term African American than we do ourselves because they are truly African and also American. So I will also go back just one video here.
First, I'd like to start off by thanking the chair, committee staff, and our sponsor for bringing forward this very important issue. SB 515 addresses a critical gap by improving how local governments in California collect and report demographic data. This bill recognizes that without accurate, consistent, and complete information, the unique needs of historically marginalized communities, particularly those most impacted by generations of injustice, remain invisible in our decision-making process. As we continue working towards equity in public policy, it is essential that our data reflects the full diversity of our communities. Let me give you an example of what I mean. On one form, we have the different data reflecting for those in Asian community, Cambodian, Chinese, Filipino, Indian, Japanese, Korean, Laotian, Vietnamese, and other. Pacific Islander, you
Laotian.
have Guatemalan, Native Hawaiian, Samoan, and other Pacific Islander. However, on most documents, it only typically will reflect Black African American. Without specific data, challenges and contributions of our communities remain overlooked. SB 515 ensures that their experiences are recognized.
I want to pause here just to say that this whole disaggregation thing, which is, what we are calling delineation, this is nothing new. This is something that have been done with other groups already. And she just went through the names of those groups and what it looks like on the census and, hitherto, henceforward. So this is nothing new. She's just saying the same thing needs to be done here. It has been neglected. It has been neglected and needs to be applied.
And considered in policy.
It's been neglected and needs to be applied to the group where it just says Black/African American.
Decisions. Similarly, the State Controller's Office and the Department of Human Resources provides more accurate data for ethnic groups, which I just described for you. And this bill is simply asking for the other counties and cities and state entities to do the same. By allowing SB 515 to analyze this refined data, government agencies can make sure that the unique challenges of different communities are understood and, more importantly, addressed.
But when I read the SB 515, they calling us African Americans and everybody else Black. No, we are Black Americans. Our ethnic identifier is Black American. We are the people that have been reclassified as Black and made it our culture, history, and legacy and heritage. So this needs to be corrected. The Caribbeans can be Caribbeans, the Africans can be the Africans, but the Black Americans, we are Black Americans.
First, I'd like to.
All right, and so I'll go a little further into what he had to say.
Peace to the tribe. California lawmakers.
Because, there are some things that need to be done with SB 515. Some people say it needs to be re-edited. It needs to be tweaked a little bit in its language so that it's not so inclusive of other groups and so that it's very clear that we're trying to delineate the Black American.
To vote on a bill requiring Black demographic data be broken down by ethnic groups. Legislation introduced by Senator Laura Richardson, Democrat from Inglewood, that would require local governments to disaggregate demographic data for Black or African American populations is up for a key vote this week. SB 515 addresses a critical gap by improving how local governments in California collect and report demographic data, Richardson told the committee. This bill recognizes that without an accurate, consistent, and complete information about the unique needs of historically marginalized communities, particularly those impacted by injustices, they remain invisible in our decision-making process. If enacted, the bill will go into effect on January 1st, 2027, requiring cities and counties to collect more detailed demographic data on Black communities. This would include distinctions among African Americans, African immigrants, and Afro-Caribbean populations. Now, all this sound good. All of it sound good. I'm all for disaggregation and delineation. We need to be separate. Black Americans need to be separate from other ethnic groups in America. But when I look into this SB 515 bill, it's all over the place and it needs to be corrected. Let's take a look, shall we? It says African Americans who are descendants of persons who were enslaved in the United States means individuals who self-identify as Black. Well, before the year 1960, we didn't self-identify as Black, meaning you could self-identify as anything you wanted in America from the year 1960 till today. Well, the Black label got put on Black Americans. That's one of our harms. They stripped everything from us and left us with Black. So we took Black and made it the global phenomenon of what it is today. So I don't self-identify as Black. When I look at my family tree, all of my ancestors during slavery, after slavery, were reclassified to Black. And the crazy thing about this whole SB 515, they're calling us African Americans and the Afro immigrants, the melanated immigrants, African Blacks and Caribbean Blacks. If it doesn't have Black American listed as the ethnic identifier and quote unquote African American, American freedmen, FBA, ADOS, all those should come underneath the Black American ethnic identifier. If you have African American as the ethnic identifier and you got Black underneath that and American freedmen underneath that, that is not delineation. With delineation, you got to gatekeep your ethnic and cultural identity. The Black Americans' ethnic and cultural identity is Black. Black is my culture. You cannot separate a people from their culture. And I feel like referring.
I want to pause him because there are so many different ways you can say Indigenous Black American, Original Black American, Foundational Black American, ADOS, American Descendant of Chattel Slavery, DACS, Descendants of American Chattel Slavery, all these different terms. One of our oldest terms is, well, Aborigine, but I digress. One of our oldest terms is freedmen, right? So I think if there was a category for American freedmen, that could solve a lot of these problems. Now, of course, it's not the best ethnic identifier because it's a term, but we know who the term is talking about. You could go anywhere and say I mean, literally the last name of Morgan Freeman is based off of, like, the creation of the name is based off of freed people. So I think American freedman is another term that we might need to toss into the hat. Foundational Black American tends to upset people for whatever reason. People think that it's some kind of an FBI agent's COINTELPRO scheme um, to be divisive. ADOS seems to have come and went, and we know that African American and Black American are both, very, very ambiguous terms that many people can identify as, and many people do. So, American Freedman probably needs to be tossed in the hat along with some of these other names. So, SB 515 isn't perfect, but it's a start, and we're happy for that. So, you let me know what you think about delineation in the box below. Again, it's been done already. It's been done already in other groups. The Chinese people and the Japanese people are not saying, "Hey, we're all yellow. We're all Asian." Like, if you try to confuse a Chinese and a Japanese person and see if you don't catch all hell from the Chinese people. And that's because of the oppression that they went through under the hands of the Japanese people that I won't get into. But this is a move in the right direction. This is a step in the right direction. I'm very happy with that. Uppity and I'm out of here.